Just sum up for me how you're feeling right now, taking this all in.
Oh, it's amazing. I think I said up there, it's a little surreal in the sense of where it started. You have to take your mind back. All the dream was to get to that Bournemouth International Centre against Isaac Chamberlain, and that was job done. And that was an incredible fight, and it just snowballed and snowballed. Ended up at the Vitality, winning that world title, defended it against Bastadat. Then the big night at Sellers Park where Chris just looked the best I'd ever seen him. He's so confident, so relaxed, but also so experienced now. That's why we can enjoy it. You know, he's been in the big fights so many times, but this is you talk about etching your name in British boxing history, which I believe he's done. What he's achieved from where he was at is incredible. But to do it on Saturday night, you're becoming one of the best fighters in the world. And so to take ourselves back to where we were in and around European level, we had the rematch, Chris had the rematch with Tommy McCarthy. And the way he's kicked on and got to this stage, it shows what could happen with hard work. He's an inspiration to every professional boxer in Britain, and I'm sure that everyone in Britain will have their fingers crossed on Saturday night.
In terms of experiences, do you think Chris can draw on what he learned and what he went through with the away crowd at Selhurst Park in an atmosphere like this?
I think so. Look, he's used to massive crowds, and maybe the US audience don't realise how big he is in the UK. There's not many people that can sell 15,000, 20,000 tickets. He feeds off that energy. He's not going to have that this time. Even though we went to Selhurst Park, there was still a lot of Bournemouth guys in there. I think he's going to have to get used to that. But sometimes I actually think it can play to his advantage. Chris is someone that fights with adrenaline and sometimes makes mistakes because he just wants to have a scrap. Now he's really focused, he's really relaxed, he's really calm. Yes, he can draw on his experiences. This is going to be like nothing else. It's not going to have those UK fans, but it's a huge fight. And I'm as relaxed as he is. I think this is going to be a very, very special night.
We've been here before, the underdog story. You know, we've heard comments from that man to your left this week. We've heard comments from his camp. Certain people feeling maybe this might be a walkover for Gilberto Ramirez. An underdog story, it's not, unfamiliar territory for Chris at all, is it?
Yeah, I've never actually seen someone in someone's camp, in someone's training team, come out with something like that, especially with a fight this big. But I think it says it all. It says it all about what he knows about boxing, but also says it all about Chris Billam-Smith's career. Always written off, always the underdog, always never good enough to win a world title, never good enough to headline, never good enough to sell out a stadium, and he just kept doing it. And even when he became world champion, he became the underdog again against Richard Riappo. We're here again, and I don't think Chris will ever be the favourite in a fight, and but that's where he likes to be. It spurs him on more. I think he's made a massive mistake by saying that, and Chris and Shane have taken it very personally, and they're ready to go.
We've heard that Jaya Pattaya is likely the person the winner will face. A lot of people would expect that fight to be back here in Saudi Arabia, but by the sounds of it, you wouldn't mind coming back to Bournemouth.
I would love to go back to Bournemouth. It was one of the best nights I've had in boxing. To go back there again, to become potentially undisputed, yes, unified world champion would be incredible. Of course, Turki Al-Sheikh, he made this fight happen, and he made it happen on the biggest of stages, so I would always give him the first option to make that big fight against Pattaya. It's hard to look beyond Saturday night, but the Vitality for me would be right up there. I'd love to get back there, and I know Chris would as well.
And just finally, how do you see the fight going on Saturday night? Do you think the weight will play a big part in terms of how much experience Chris has got at cruiserweight?
I think so. I think experience counts for so much in this game, and so does size. And I think when you look at the way Zerdo fights and you look at how successful he was at super middleweight, not as successful at light heavyweight, and then has come up again. Kulamarin had been out over 2 years. I don't think you can read too much into that performance and that win. I know it was impressive, but I don't read too much into it. And I think Chris has to draw so much confidence from that. He's a big man. He's the aggressor. He's the one with more power. He's the one that's been here before, and look, it's so exciting. Zerdo's a fantastic fighter, and he's going to be up for a scrap as well. One thing that you can be sure is it really is going to be an unbelievable fight. I think Chris is going to have to get very close to him and make it uncomfortable and be aggressive and turn it into a dog fight, so the fans are in for a treat.
When we've got this weekend the likes of Mike Tyson against Jake Paul, how good of an advert for boxing and British boxing is Chris Billam-Smith in this fight.
Yeah, it's a boxing purist dream. You know, you got two of the best fighters in the division going against each other. You got Chris Billam-Smith, who is a fan's favourite as well, and a great advert for British boxing. And I think it's what boxing needs. And credit to His Excellency and Turki Al-Sheikh, because he could go and put on Jake Paul and Mike Tyson here, and it would do ridiculous numbers. But he loves the sport, and he wants to see the best fighting the best and build boxing. The fact that it's free as well means they're going to do huge numbers on Saturday night, and yeah, great night for British boxing as well.